I was wondering why your background looked different. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, different.
I'm at Joe's house. He's actually on a guy's trip, so he's not home tonight. I have his house to myself, which will be my house in June. So just getting comfy. Just getting comfy.
There you go.
Okay, at 7 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah, they're running around the house.
Yeah, my Moses is home alone.
Aww.
Tina, is your daughter around?
She is, but she's sleeping.
That's great.
I don't know what's going on. I've tried to make her get out of bed twice. She's like, Mom, I'm just so tired. I just want to sleep. I'm like, you are not going to sleep tonight. You need to get up. I don't know.
Okay, so I learned about this, okay? So, because I have a lot of people that are having sleep issues. So when it comes to not like snoozing your alarm clock in the morning or taking a nap, like a full sleep cycle happens in about 60 to 90 minutes, 75-ish minutes. So if you're snoozing your alarm, your body is like basically going back into a sleep cycle. And so then you're having that much harder of a time coming out of what they call like sleep inertia. Your body's like in sleep and wants to stay asleep for 4 hours. So if you like, people are sluggish at work and don't have energy and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I didn't even sleep. It's because you interrupted that sleep cycle. So if a nap, like if your nap isn't timed to be like 20 to 30 minutes at the most, you fall into that sleep cycle. And then you literally, especially children, because their sleeps, like their deep part of their sleep is so deep that like they literally cannot come out of it.
Well, that's probably what she's doing.
Well, and she's like preteen, right? She's a preteen. So and she's probably going through a lot of like changes and growing and all that jazz.
And back to school, and they're like actually doing gym, and she's back to doing activity, and she's she said it was rough today at school. I'm like, what did you do? Like, she's like, well, I went to the fitness center, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just let you sleep then. I don't know.
Yeah, well, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I am going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming on tonight and tuning in to our growth work network community call. So last week's growth. Hi, Valerie. So last week's growth work, there were 2 assignments. Number 1 was to do a celebration blitz. And that, as a reminder for those that didn't participate, is 3 minutes, setting your time, like your timer in your home, on your phone, whatever, 3 minutes of taking a very cluttered area in your home. And you probably can guess what I chose, my sink. And my dishes that I am washing and now drying are just sitting there. So I have to put them away. So I chose an area that's cluttered for 3 minutes, and I put things away, and I celebrated each item that I put in its right place. And the idea of that, again, is to rewire those tread marks of negativity and comfort and yuckiness that are all over our brain. It's to rewire those pathways and to feel good. Because when we do something and we feel good, we feel reward, we want to do it again. So who did the celebration blitz? Yeah. Okay, Michelle, good job. I also did
5 minutes.
5? Small action taken to the top. All right, good job. Very good job. So do you want to share your experience? I know you're eating. I'm sorry you're eating.
That's okay. I needed some, how do you say that word? Cruciferous? Yes, thank you. I needed some of those to like get me through.
Good job.
Some Brussels sprouts. what I did is I have my living room table is right now filled with all the paperwork from when I was on the board for my HOA. And I'm going through it because some of the stuff has to be shredded because it's secret. And every time I collected a pile that was like about this much so I could feed it in the shredder, I was like dancing around and I'm like, yeah. I got through 4 folders in 5 minutes. It
Heck
was
yeah,
great.
that's awesome. Very
Mhm.
good. Feels so good, right? And
Yes,
like,
awesome.
would you say that this moment of celebration was different than other moments of celebration? Just by chance.
Yeah, because I was paying attention to the celebration. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, good job. It was like, yeah, I'm getting this done. I'm getting closer to selling my condo. It's all good.
Yeah. So that's great. Like, that's the point, is to feel it in a deeper way. So then you're connected to that feeling and rewiring your brain from looking at that pile of shit and saying, oh my God, I have to do that still. Like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. It can wait another day. Because honestly, every small action that we take, it's just as easy not to do it. So we're trying to get into the mindset of feeling good. So it's like, you know what? I remember feeling so good when I did that. I want that again. Because right now I'm just feeling shitty. So it's like helping us find that solution. So the second piece of the growth work was to bring back your most effective celebration. Because when it comes to celebrating, you can do the same thing always, and your brain might get tired of it and be like, you know what, I know what you're doing, it's not working anymore. So you can change it up, like we change up our food, like we change up our movement, changing up your celebrations. So I also did some happy dances. I was doing like one of these, like, and I'm like putting weird like sounds to it. And then like I get a little sing-songy, like, I just put the containers in the cabinet. Yeah. And like snaps. And like, I was getting silly. I was laughing at myself. And I was just like, yeah, this feels great. Moses, do you want to join me? Let's do this. And he seemed to really enjoy it too. So it's a matter of like really truly feeling it so that you are really truly rewiring your brain. So it's a small action and you can easily not do it, but when you start to feel that goodness, it's going to drive you to continue to make those small actions happen. Okay, so anyone, well, Michelle, do you want to share your favorite celebration, your most effective celebration that made you really feel that goodness?
Well, the thing that I did different is instead of just celebrating in my chair, and I'm not going to do it right now because I kind of twisted my back a little bit earlier. I would actually get up out of the chair, and then I found myself not sitting back down. I would like kneel in the chair and like stand up, and I was more productive doing it like
Okay.
that. I was able to do more.
Yes, so good.
It was like a dance, and yeah.
Full body. Full body love.
There you go.
Okay, so moving from that, so there's been a lot of different people in our growth network, but we all came here for the same reason. We came here to basically have support, find like minds, and we all started with the same choice that we made. We all have been doing the 30 days to healthy living. And so healthy also includes happiness. And what a lot of people don't realize, and what I have completely realized, and that this is very normal, and there's science behind this, is that 50% of people have an optimistic DNA. So they're naturally seeing the glass half full. And then there's 50% of people who naturally have a pessimistic brain DNA. So they naturally see things that annoy them or irritate them. But no matter who you are, you have happiness inside you. Like, there's a movie that I'm obsessed with. It's a Pixar movie called Inside Out. Have any of you seen it? So I saw a commercial of that when I was in my when I was married and very unhappy, and that commercial just like spoke to me. I'm like, I need to see that movie. So I literally went to the movie theater by myself and like was blown away by the message in this movie that is just so good for kids and adults, because again, we have such a disconnect. But if we don't feel the negative feelings of sadness, grief, irritability, anger, we cannot feel the happiness. So a lot of people get stuck in those dark feelings because they don't know what to do to get out. So we're going to talk about what to do to get out, because no matter what, we're going to have shitty things happen to us. We're going to go through tough situations. It's a matter of getting control and being deliberate, feeling what you need to, and then making deliberate choices to veer towards feeling good again. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lot of us were talking about sugar, right? Having cravings with sugar. So I like to just call that emotional eating, right? So we all tend to eat through emotions. And how are we not supposed to? Like, we have to eat to live, and we have emotions every time we do something. So unfortunately, we've used it in a way where it's numbing the real issue. So I've learned the metaphor of a headache, okay? So let's say you have a headache. You take a couple of pain pills. My pain pill of choice used to be Advil, and I used to take so much Advil because of headaches, okay? So take a couple of headaches, take a couple of Advil, your headache diminishes, and then over a period of time, it often will come back. What will you do? Take a couple more tablets of Advil or Tylenol or whatever your drug of choice is. Food is the same. We're treating food as the same thing. We have an emotional ache, and we are choosing food or alcohol. I went through a nice chunk of time using alcohol as my vice. Spending, that was another one that I used. Gambling was didn't really speak to me. But also so in high school, I went the opposite way, and I actually was anorexic, and then I went bulimic. So I chose, because of uncertainty and anxiety, we choose something to have control over. And what that control over is very easily food, because we have to eat it. And it's like, it's got some sugar in it, so we feel good. So that is a lot of the time why emotional eating is more so the vice that we often come across versus something else. I think all of us on this call, I know everyone here, we all have gone with the eating choice. So food is our distraction, right? It numbs our stress. And that's how your mind is set. We talk about mindset. So we are creating this, and it's not really our fault. Again, a lot of what we do is not our fault. It's what we've been conditioned or trained to believe. So if you starve your distraction, which is often food, you'll actually feed your focus. So where you should actually put your energy into as far as what that emotional ache really is. So food is meant to be fuel and nourishment. We talk about that. We've talked about that all the days that we've been working together. It shouldn't be therapy. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we feeding? What are we feeding? and literally asking yourself that, because just like getting into that celebration, feeling that emotion, it's like, okay, I'm searching around the house for whatever it is, Oreos, Doritos, those used to be my vices. It's like, what am I feeding right now? So asking yourself that question is critical. If you really want to help yourself. Again, it's easy not to do this. It's very easy to just not ask yourself that question and continue on choosing what we're choosing. So it's your choice. And as we talk a little bit more, maybe you'll feel more like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do that. But at this point, it might be a little like, maybe. Okay, so what am I feeding? It's about becoming self-aware. Same thing with celebrating. You're aware of that feeling of goodness and that celebration. It's self-awareness. It's basically being awake, making choices that are like specific and like with determination. So here is a good test that I've learned. It's called the apple test. So if you're feeling that emotional hunger and you're not sure if it's actual hunger, ask yourself, would I eat an apple right now? An apple. And if the answer is yes, good. Eat your apple and then see how you feel. If the answer is, I kind of feel like I'm in the mood for Doritos instead, then you're emotionally eating. So that's a really quick test for yourself that we often, again, don't take the time to ask ourselves. We typically just slide right through those self-awareness opportunities and choose the bad or the food that is not serving us, right? Okay. So why are we emotionally hungry? So I talked about that feeling of uncertainty or that feeling of lack of control. So we distract ourselves with something that we feel we have control over. And as I mentioned, it could be a lot of different triggers. I know Marta talked about this last week. There could be certain triggers that actually create that uncertainty. And it could be your boss that's pissed at you for something. It could be your coworker that keeps irritating you with every single project that you work on together. It could be that you are a little bit uncertain about your job or your future and like where you really want to go. It could be your father-in-law that is just always very critical of you and making you feel uncomfortable all the time. It could be a number of different things, but a lot of the time it's a chronic thing because we keep making this same choice or pattern around that trigger. The second reason, so that's like the uncertainty reason. The second reason could be an emotional void. This has been huge for me personally lately. So an emotional void could be not getting attention from your partner or your children or another family member that you have felt close with, but you don't anymore. It could be not getting invited somewhere. That's why I send the invite out to everybody. Even though they're not on this call, you're still getting an invitation from me because you are connected to this community because we have worked together. So I love keeping people included because that's a shitty feeling, is to not be invited to something. It's the feeling of loneliness, which we all have. And again, one of the main reasons why I wanted to commit and create this community is because we all have the same feelings, even though we're so different, we go through a lot of the same issues. Having FOMO. So this is huge, fear of missing out, huge with when we are on social media. We're looking at all of these other people that are displaying what we wish and want and lust for. And let me tell you, I see so many happy pictures of people that I know for sure 100% are so unhappy. So that's why I try to really make posts that are honest and real, because I I don't care for that shit. I don't want that on my page. I don't want to be honestly friends with that. I literally stopped following people that do that. It's just, that makes me feel gross. It's like, I know that's not real. We all know that's not real for everybody. It might be real for plenty of people. Awesome. But honestly, I do the comparison thing. I'm like, man, I want to go to Hawaii. Why haven't I been to Hawaii yet? My friends are going to Hawaii in just a couple of days. And I'm like, how do they have money for that? So then I get lost in their business and it's like, how is that serving me? That's not. Okay, you know what? F that. I'm going to Hawaii someday. When it happens, it happens. I will make it happen. Okay. So FOMO, that's a big one for me. And I think that's why a lot of people have so many issues, because we do this on social media. We just fucking scroll and scroll and scroll. Oh, look at her. Oh my God. She looks so good. I wish I looked like her. No. Okay. Like, you're making that choice. Again, we're lacking in self-awareness when we're making those decisions. I have cut myself off from doing that countless times. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Court? Okay, you love yourself, you're awesome. So let's just click. Let's just, nope, not going there. Choosing goodness. And then I have to tell myself, how am I awesome? Well, I'm awesome because I've done this, this, and this, and this. And I mean, I really am, I'm turning myself into my own best friend, as they say. Talk to yourself like you're your own best, like you would your best friend. Okay, well, my best friends, honestly, when I get on the phone with them, they tell me every time, I'm so grateful for you in my life. Like, okay, so I have to be like, Court, like, be grateful you're in your life. Like, and I have this thing where I can always, and Michelle too, our brother died. I can see that, I can relate to that. It's like, you know what? I could not be living. I could literally not be living. I chose to start my Arbonne business, to be a healthy living consultant, to help people feel better, because we have this one life. That's what it is. Okay. Coming down. Okay. So fear of missing out is a big one. As you can tell, it's a big one for me. It's been a big one I've worked on. I've put in the work, small actions over time. Let me tell you, over time. People who have known me, which you've all, well, Michelle, Marta, and Lori, my mom, they've all known me for the last 7 years. Let me tell you, I have grown from being a crabby, negative, complaining, borderline alcoholic, chain smoking, closet smoker, to this. Okay.
I could never picture that.
I know, dude. I know. It's hard for me to remember all that. That was a different life altogether. Okay. Feeling hopeless about your career and your future. That is that's a big, broad one. And honestly, I feel like it kind of hovers over a lot of us. Well, it did for me before I started my Arbonne business, because let me tell you that this has brought me so much good feelings that, I mean, I'm going to do this till I'm dead. It might change. Yeah, it might change, but I doubt it. But that uncertainty, because I really felt that, like when I was working, Tina and I worked together, and when I was working in that office, I just had a really, it was weighing on me. I walked in all happy and peppy and ready to rock and roll. And then like a year goes by and I'm like, damn it, I'm feeling that shitty feeling again that I felt in my last office. Why is this happening? Well, it was happening because I wasn't processing properly. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So those are a bunch of emotional voids as to why we feel these uncertain, unhappy feelings, and we go towards our emotional hunger. Another reason is shame, fear, rejection, sadness, grief, anger, inadequacy, insecurity, and uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's a word. But like those feelings, you want to know where those stem from and why we choose food? Because of those feelings. The real reason, unfortunately, is our parents. And they didn't know any better. But when you were infant and you were crying, the first thing to do is to feed you. And if you respond well, yay. If you don't, they didn't know what the fuck to do, right? So then they would do all the things, and the hopping and the driving and the dryer and like all of those crazy baby things that I have no idea because I don't have any babies. And none of you except my mom has a baby on here, right? Right. Okay. We've heard all those things. So then you become a toddler and you're whining and crying, and the parent again is just like, okay, well, honey, baby, just eat this. You'll feel better. Shove it in your mouth. And you're still feeling whatever uncomfortable feeling you were feeling, whether it be impatience or tired or like whatever toddlers feel, sadness, like all the emotions, irritable, like unheard. That's a huge one. I mean, kids are not like, we're often not paying attention to them because we're all distracted on our own phones. But so then the parent is like, here you go. So we unfortunately are teaching, we were taught, and we're teaching our children to feed their emotions instead of communicating, trying to actually decipher, where is this feeling coming from? What are you feeling? What is it connected to? What triggered it? How long have you been feeling this way? Is it every day? Is it this time every day? Is it after you get off the phone with that person every day? Is it after work every day? Like there are patterns. We just, again, have to become self-aware of what those patterns are. Okay. If we don't, and this is hard, if we don't sit or pause or be in the moment of those feelings, they're never going to go away. So unfortunately, feeling them fully is the only way to heal them. And feeling them fully takes a little bit of self-exploration and self-compassion. So I think a really good way to track this for all of us that do emotionally eat or emotionally drink or emotionally smoke or emotionally gamble or emotionally sex it up, like, is to basically document your journey of eating and then making note, whether it's on journal paper or in your phone, making note of the feeling that you're feeling, how high is your stress, or what is the source of your stress in that moment that you're feeling that emotional eating. And of course, the first few days, you're going to be so mindful that you're going to avoid the emotional eating because you're like, oh, I guess I'm good now. Huh, I beat it. I'm not an emotional eater anymore. No, it's going to come back, and it just does. So be more mindful of what you're eating, jotting it down, typing it in, the stress level that you have. Make yourself a scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, and then where that source of stress is coming from, because it is a pattern. So then we can figure out, oh, okay, this is the pattern. Here is the source. Okay, now what do I do? We'll get to that. Okay. Another thing, we talked about this well, Valerie, you mentioned this last week, which was really good. You talked about hiding the food. Okay, that works. I've looked into it a little bit more, but if you know where it is, it makes it hard, right? So the person that loves you and that supports you and that still has these snacks, they are going to hide it in a very difficult place. Because when you start going around the house and you're like opening cabinets and checking drawers and like, where the fuck is the Doritos? Where's the cookies? You're gonna be like, oh, this is the moment. Oh, this is where I'm like, wait, what am I feeding? What am I feeding right now? What just happened? Why am I feeling so anxious? That's the moment That's self-awareness. And you have to practice it. So everybody go ask someone to hide some shit in their house, and that'll help you build that self-awareness, because we, again, are so quick to make these choices without thinking. We are not plugged into it. We are not connected. We are not having that self-compassion of, who am I? What am I doing? Why? Oh yeah, I get it now. Like, this is very clarifying for me. It may not be the end all be all. Again, shit's gonna happen, but this is where you start developing a mindset where you have clarity and you can make deliberate choices on what you do from this moment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Practice growing that self-awareness. Aware means awake. Again, we're on autopilot the majority of the day because we do a lot of the same things every day. So we're very disconnected from our thoughts for the most part. So it's about turning off that autopilot and getting connected to who, like your skin, your feelings, feeling it. I think there's a book one of my friends told me about called Feel Your Fucking Feelings. I think I'm gonna look that one up. Okay, so another strategy is to have, like, find real support. Here you go. Hugging everybody. Here's your support. Here's where you can listen to me spew out all of the books that I've read for the last 2 years on connecting with yourself, having self-compassion, growing, learning how to do this shit. I love it. I will always spew it out. So if you come back every Wednesday, I honestly feel like too much time goes by in a week. And I'm just like, I have so much to say. But I appreciate that everyone doesn't have the same schedule as I do. So this is great. I love that all of you do show up when you do. Okay. It's also about what we talked about last week. Stop talking shit about yourself. Have any of you been a little bit more aware of the shit talking that you do throughout the day, throughout the week?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Because guess what? That's self-awareness. And that is the start to anything. Is like becoming aware, having this awakening. Because I'm spewing it out, I'm also spewing it to myself. So I'm reminding myself. And instead of like just calling it out, which is so good and so important, you can actually say what you truly feel. Again, that shit talking, that happened when you were a kid or a teenager or an adult in a traumatic experience, and everybody's trauma is different, but somebody put their belief in you and made it your belief, and you didn't know that. You didn't have the awareness or the ability to know the difference. For me, I remember a very specific situation in my teen years, something my dad said that just like hit me. And he was responding to me being a royal little pain in his ass. That's what I was being. So I was pissing him off, pushing his buttons. He'd said something very mean and probably didn't mean it. But I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. And I was like, oh, like, I remember it. And that created an insecurity in me and a feeling that so many of us have. Just, can anyone take a guess? I don't want to put you all on the spot, but the feeling of unworthiness, that I don't matter. I don't matter. There's no worth there. So what's the point? What's the point in making a good decision? Because I don't matter, right? So that's an insecurity I've had, and that that like in so many ways, a lot of people have. And that's like, where's the love for yourself? It's missing. It is missing. So then we have this lack, this uncertainty, this irritability, this discomfort. And so we move to our vice because we don't know how to get out of it. We don't know how to escape that darkness. So that's where the self-deprecating comes from, the self-negative talk, the self-shit talking. Like that's where that comes from. It comes from somebody else's like belief or moment of bad judgment. Like it's not, but you internalized it because you didn't know what else to do. It hurt you. So that carries over because it crisscrossed all over your brain in all the aspects, because then it was like insecurity, everything I'm doing, I'm feeling insecure. I don't feel like I can be myself. I don't feel like I can say what I feel right now. I don't feel, and I still go through this. Like it is a constant, like this will never go away. But again, calling it out and then saying what you really believe, what you truly believe, which is, I'm totally worth this. I have so much worth. It's like sick. It's like awesome. Like go like, and feeling it and being true. That's how I feel now. So it's like, that has created so much healing for me and my relationship with my dad. Like he doesn't know any of this. He doesn't know that what, like he said, did that. And all the people that say these things to you, that put this shit in your head, they don't know that they did this to you. We internalized it because we didn't know anything else. Okay. So stop talking shit about yourself. Call yourself out. I learned a method of, you know, like that girl in junior high or that girl in high school that you just kind of idolized but hated. Remember her? Okay. Well, her name's Kira for me. Okay. She looked like a Barbie doll. Mom knows her. So I've started calling her Kira because that's not me. Like I don't talk to myself. That's not how I feel, but it still happens. Like I still hear it. It happens all the time. And so lately I've been like, okay, Kira, back off. You're done. No more of that. Bye-bye. I'm like, yay, good job, Court. Let's do this. You know, it sounds psychotic, but you know what? Some of those psychotic people, they live a really happy life because they're doing all of this outside of their brain. They're saying all these things and we look at them like they're psycho, and really they're probably much happier than we are. Okay, regrouping. Another thing, get rid of the scale. Get rid of the scale.
Really?
Like if you went a whole week of not eating Oreo cookies, not eating pie that some patient brought to the office, not eating bags of Doritos, and you get on the scale and you see that your weight has not moved, what is that going to do to you?
Make you want to go eat all that stuff again.
Yep. Or worse, you gain 2 pounds. How the fuck did that happen? Oh no, I'm making it 4. Bye. Doritos, where are you? Where are you? Yeah. Okay, so judge it by how you're feeling, like get deeper connected inside, because you know what? When you feel good and you feel good, your body will follow. Your body will follow. Losing weight will be a side effect, a positive side effect of getting your mind right. All right, so it's perfectly normal to have waves, right? Sadness is a feeling that we are born with, like we are born with happiness. Irritability, that was one of my big ones. And I did this whole like really cool. It's like, it was an app on like breaking down bad thoughts, like mental health app. It was really cool. It was a lot of work, and I put it in for a little bit. I didn't do like a full, whatever, 30 days or something, but I just wanted to figure out why I was feeling so irritable. Feeling so irritable all the time. Joe and I were arguing. It was just like, why am I just like, everything you say and even the way you chew is really pissing me off. Why? Okay, I figured it out. It comes from the feeling of I feel like I wasn't being heard, because he would often ask me questions. I probably should have asked him if it's okay to like break this boundary and talk about him on here, but it's happening. This happens to like lots of people. So I figured out, oh, sorry, I was sitting on my leg and now it's asleep. It goes back to my insecurity of not feeling heard, like I am worthless. And so when he would ask me a question that I already reviewed for the third time, are you gonna listen to me this time? It's because it was triggering me. I don't feel like I matter. Like, do I matter? You've asked me this 3 times now. Why? What? So it's my problem. Like, if I can tell him, which I have, like, okay, so you've asked me this 3 times now. I'm just gonna ask that you look me in the eye and repeat back what I say, because then I'll know that you heard me. How does that sound? Yeah, babe, I'm so sorry. I've been distracted. I know, it happens to me too. I love you. I'm going to tell you the answer now. Are you ready? Yes, babe, I'm ready. Okay. The dishes go to the left, in the left cabinet. Okay. I love you. Like, and then you can make it silly. You can make it silly. You can make it light. You can make out after it. Like, you can feel good for not getting so angry and irritated. So, waves of irritability are normal. Waves of sadness, waves of happiness, it all is normal. But how do we get to feel happiness more often? 3 ways. I don't like how this looks. That's why I like doing this. That's like a baseball thing. Like 3 strikes, you're out. 3 moves. 3 choices. Choices, again. So easy to not choose this. So easy to not do this. If you want to feel better, if you want to feel good, if you want to create better awareness, more of a positive mindset, or if you're a pessimistic brain, then more of a realistic, good mindset. Like, because pessimistic people, they're like, oh, you're always so positive. Okay. Like, that's a problem. Anyway, 3 things. 1, practicing gratitude. That is why my first growth work assignment was to do the grounding technique in the morning, to feel good, set the intention for the day. I have done it every day. Maybe not, and I did it a couple times where I got up and like took a couple steps, but I've done it every day. And I bet you the majority of you haven't. I've been doing this shit a lot longer than a lot of people. So it's fine, because guess what? Tomorrow's a new morning. Tomorrow is a new morning. Every day is a new day to make choices that feel good. If you had a shitty day, if you ate a bag of Doritos, it was a moment. Tomorrow's a new day. Now is a new minute. Now is a new minute. Like we always have that new moment, and to keep shaming yourself for the choices that you made, it creates that cycle. So it's like, okay, Kira, Okay, I ate a bag of Doritos. Okay, you win. But you know what? It was a moment and I'm moving on. Kira, bye. Flip your hair, your skirt, and like, go. Okay. So, practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude. Tina's dying. Practicing gratitude literally veers you off those negative, comfortable, shoddy tread marks in the foot of Chicago snow in your 2006 Honda Civic. It starts to veer you off that path little by little. And then that path is covered in goodness. So then you start having more goodness. And then it continues on and starts like totally changing the surface of your brain. Because right now it's encased really deeply with Kira's nasty talk. So you have to practice the gratitude. Practice. Doing it first thing in the morning is the key to building self-awareness. Because you're making that commitment. Write yourself a sticky note. Write lipstick on your mirror to remind you. Do something to help you. And then feel it. Don't just be like, oh, today's going to be great. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. You know that's not going to work. From all that you've learned, you know that's not going to work. So you have to be like, I did this morning. I woke up like, I can breathe. I woke up. I get to live another day. I get to live another day. I'm not dead. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to be intentional? How am I going to take control? How am I not going to be on autopilot all day long? Autopilot will happen. I know it, but how can I make it good? So I have like, Joe gave me a 5-minute journal, maybe a couple of years ago. It's like 3 things you're grateful for, and then 2 things that will make today great. And those are my goals. I'm trying to make those 2 things happen. One of them is always typically the same, to do something nice for a stranger. Like, I got that idea from Joe. He asks his kid every night on the phone, what did you do something nice for a stranger today? Dad, I don't know. Well, think about it. Well, like there was this guy dribbling a basketball and he dropped it and I picked it up for him. Great, good job, Jacob. Like he had to search for it. We have to search for the good too. We make them do it, which is great, but are we doing that? Not often. So we have to search for the good. What we're grateful for, being specific is better. I'm grateful for my dog. Are you though? That doesn't sound like you are. Why are you grateful for your dog? Well, I am because he just looks so cute and he has like little nose and his butt wiggles and like he just makes me feel like really good inside. Bam. Gratitude. Like feel it, picture it, imagine it. Like make it all a thing in your life. Make it real. Practicing gratitude. Number 2, movement. Science. Science says if we move 10 to 20 minutes a day, stretching, walking, marching in place, like put a YouTube video on or an episode of Schitt's Creek and just like march in place. That feels good. Schitt's Creek feels good. I want to watch that and I'll just march in place. Okay. Like movement, moving your body, connecting your brain to your body feels really good. And it releases all these crazy hormones that really do make you feel good. So there is science to that. Okay, practicing gratitude, practicing movement. Number 3, connection. Being a part of something that truly gives you good feelings. Community. And a reason why I wanted this so badly was because we all want to feel like we belong. It is in our DNA to connect with others. And a lot of the time, it's a surface connection that doesn't give us that depth. I'm the type of person where I don't like to small talk. It's very irritating to me. I wanted to connect. I want to talk about something that's really happening that makes me like pay attention and then relate to it and then share something that happened to me that's similar. Like I like that. That feels really good. And I get irritated at like get-togethers when they used to happen when I couldn't have that. I'm like, oh, this party sucks. I can't connect with anybody. Well, that's my fault. Like I can make more of an effort, and that's part of it. If you're feeling like a disconnect with someone, are you putting in the effort? Are you making it happen? Or are you just blaming that person for not talking to you? Or are you blaming that group for not including you? And think about it. Does that group have anything to do with you feeling good? Like one of my good friends, she's turned into a very healthy living person, and her group still goes out to bars, still drinks a ton of beer like she used to, still smokes cigarettes like she used to. And she's like, it's weird, like I don't get invited out by them anymore, and like it kind of bugs me, but it's like if I went out with them I wouldn't feel the good connection anyway. That's just a part of life. Like we all, like our friends are like leaves on a tree. And then our good people, like our inner circle, that's what I call them, are the branches. And they will always stay. But the friends, like the friends and the acquaintances, like the season will change and the leaves will look beautiful and then just kind of wither away. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Like that is life. We all are growing and evolving and connecting to a new leaf. But those branches, like those are like, if you can consolidate those branches that feel really good, like that gives you so much fulfillment. And if one of those branches starts to like disconnect and you know that you could be a part of it, but you're blaming them for it, be a bigger person. Reach out to them. Tell them, I've been really missing you. I want to make the effort to like reconnect. What can we do? Are you feeling this way? Is there something going on? Can I be there for you? Those couple of things are really helpful. I think that's it. It's 7:53. I can't believe I just talked for like an hour almost. What is everyone feeling, thinking?
Okay, I just turned on my microphone when you said I'm done. Please don't stop. Can we have more?
Oh gosh.
That was great.
Yeah, well, next week I have another doozy of goodness. I'm excited.
Feels like the therapy that I need.
Yeah, for sure.
Yay!
Me
So,
too.
I went to therapy for you guys. Like I learned all this shit. It's good stuff. Like therapy, and that's another thing. Like there are like so many ways to heal your pain. Okay, so and I've done all of these things, and again, they're all small actions, and all of them may not fit you for right now, but talk therapy was just massive for me. Reading, that all of this is reading. Everything I've read is coming out at you, or listening. Like I do audiobooks and reading at the same time. It all says the same thing. It's all the same stuff, but it just like you just get it like at different times. It just like it permeates through your mindset when it should, and when you're like, oh yeah, this is what I needed. So talk therapy, reading, audiobooks, meditation, hard, but I mean, when I first started, I'm just like falling asleep. As I think I've told all of you, it's just like, woo, oh, that was great. I meditated for, I don't know, a minute before I just, but especially when it's Michelle, especially when it's guided meditation. That especially one of my words, guided meditation with this app Headspace, because the guy talks to you about why your brain does what it does, and so you just learn as you go. And he said something to me that really stuck with me, and that I tell a lot of people, and I'm sure it goes like this. But your brain wants to be at rest. And in this digital world that we live in, it's not. We are so high stress in the brain. And then the body wants to move, because our body is made of hinges and levers and pulleys. Like, our body is made to move, and then our brain is made to rest and digest. And do we do all of that? No, we don't do mindful eating. We're like, and like, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And yet we're in a chair. We're in a chair doing all of that. So we're like pretending to move, but we're moving this. And it's like the opposite. We need to get up, breathe some air outside, and listen to a podcast. Like, that's what we need to do.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Meditation, exercise, another form. Again, I just cannot say enough about exercise. But I know that nutrition is really, honestly, for what I believe, nutrition is where to start, because then you're prepping your gut to help your mind. Because if your mind starts to get right and your gut's all fucked up, like, there's a lot of disconnect there. So I love that we start with nourishment, mind health, and then movement, and then like all the other stuff. Because that, again, small actions. That's how we transition into more goodness. We start small, feel good, continue on. And yoga, that was I've yet to get back into yoga. I'm gonna make it happen. I can only fit in so many good things, you know? Okay, what else? What else can I share or do? Because now we really are hitting an hour, and I want to respect your evening.
I want to share something with you.
Yay.
You know what today is?
February 3rd.
My 1 year anniversary on Arbonne. There you go. Where's your stamps?
I like that, like, neck move. It's weird. It's like, ooh. Oh my gosh. How does that feel?
It's amazing. I am so grateful that this is something you chose to do, and we've shared it together. And it's really, God, I don't even know how many years difference there is between us, but
yeah. Doesn't matter.
It's great that we have each other, and I'm so glad to be part of this.
Me too, sister. So Michelle and I, we have the same dad. We have different moms. And yes, there's some years between us, and there's many states between us, many years of not really connecting, not really talking, and now, like, she's on my speed dial. We talk every Sunday. We constantly text each other. I mean, it's just like the coolest thing that, like, I love that I'm doing this, because it has reconnected me with so many cool people. So many. It's just such a, and like, healthy is happy. Happy is connecting in a community. And like, I can't stress it enough. Connecting with nature. Like, everybody to go pet their plant and say, I love you, because they do so much for us. And we're so disconnected from our earth that is dying because of us. So we have to have better minds to help it. Choosing clean companies like that are future forward, like Arbonne, making a difference. We gotta do better. So eventually I will infuse you with more nature stuff, but in due time, we need to fix our brains first. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? Hearts and loves. Okay. All right. Well, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Court. Talk soon.
Thanks, Courtney.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye,
Courtney.
everybody.
Thank you, ladies. Good to see you. Bye.
You.
Be self-compassionate. All right. Good night.
Good night, guys.